Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. So,
Yeah,
Allison,
and
talk about the FBI missing
yeah, what
the
the
hidden
frick,
room.
FBI? Again, this goes right along with what I've been saying. Everybody blames Garland for the
Yeah,
the holdup. I blame Dan Tuono at the Washington Field Office FBI, who kept saying, "No, I'm not going to do search warrants. No, I'm not going to issue search warrants. No, I'm not going to give you I'm not going to let you subpoena people." I would be willing to bet money that there was a phone call on premises to Dan Tuono where somebody said, "Hey, boss, we got a locked closet here. We don't have the key." And Dan Tuono said, "You guys have been there long enough. Just get out. We're fine." Now, I don't have I have zero
yeah,
confirmation of that. But given the fact that he didn't want to go in there and search in the first place, Dan Tuono,
yeah.
the reason that there was a subpoena issued and everybody was like, "Why are they treating him with kid gloves and only subpoenaing him?" That was Dan Tuono. Dan Tuono is a pal of Jim Jordan and Donald Trump. He is one of the main reasons this whole thing took so long. So
Yeah.
that's what I think personally happened, but it's unconscionable that the FBI wouldn't go into a locked closet.
Yeah. Well, and so Barb McQuaid she seemed to be dispensing a tiny bit of hopium this
She
morning. There
does that
seems
on
to be
occasion.
some movement by Judge, what's her name? Loose Cannon. In the documents case. But what do you, that is so infuriating to me that when I have to read a sentence that she may delay it indefinitely or forever, I'm like, can she do that? Like, really? I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
Judges have power. That's why elections are so important for president. We that's what look at what happened with Roe. I mean,
Yeah.
and everybody's like, well, it's just the Democrats have never been as good at running on judges as the Republicans have because we didn't have some weird religious reason to do it. But uh, you know, it shouldn't have taken these hearings, these CIPA Section 4 hearings could have happened over a month ago. She's nickel and diming it. I've said this from the beginning. She won't do anything overly egregious or illegal. She'll just nickel and dime delay this trial until 2025.
God, I have to say, when you were saying like this immunity ruling was your perfect scenario, I still, even though it's terrifying, it's like a terrifying ride. It's some like horrible amusement park, but it is the perfect thing that he runs, loses, in a landslide, and then he gets convicted and goes to prison. It is so definitive. I mean, what do
Yeah.
you have predictions as to what you think is going to happen and when?
Well,
I've
this
always said
trial,
I'm not sure he's going to be the candidate. It feels like a wild ride either way this year.
well, I always thought that this trial, well, until, with the stay a couple months ago, I said this trial will probably go in May or June. Then it'll go like 5 months, May, June, July, August, September, October. He'll get a conviction right before the election, but he's not going to see the inside of a jail cell for a long time
Sure,
because
sure.
sentencing recommendations take forever and there'll be appeals and maybe they'll let him. I don't know if Judge Chuck will let him out pending appeal and the pendency of an appeal, but probably not. But it's, if he goes to jail, it's not going to be probably until next year.
Right.
So, but
Yeah. Well, I always thought he would be convicted before the
the
election, but not.
important part
Yeah.
is to
Yeah.
get the conviction before the election, which
Yeah.
I always, way back in the day, I was like, that's a really fast timeline. I hope it comes to pass. You remember I said,
Yeah.
if we follow the Watergate timeline, if we got indictments in April of 2023, that would be lightning speed. And so we
Yeah.
ended up getting them in June and August, which is more along the
Yeah.
lines of when I thought they would come. Um, so, here we are. Of course, I will say this. I wanted Merrick Garland to appoint a special counsel immediately. That's probably the only thing
Right.
that I would criticize him on the speed here. And he probably should have come out more forcefully and talked about what resources he's putting on it and how important and what an
Yeah.
emergency it was. But
But
aside
that's
from
that's
that,
what I keep saying, Allison. Is what more compelling public interest is there than in knowing whether we're going to give a convicted felon the nuclear codes?
problem is if you're going to take the DOJ back to normal, normal is quiet.
Yeah.
It's just that I would have handled it differently. And I do have criticisms of Garland.
Yeah.
I don't think Garland is untouchable. Um, so,
Yeah.
I'm really glad he decided not to take the E. Jean Carroll case.
Yeah, jeez. Thank you. By the way, I just real quick your tweet before we break. I keep saying it's not just him; it's the whole party has become lawless. You said in just one you were retweeting Kyle Griffin, who said in just one day, two frontrunners for Donald Trump's next VP pick said they would not certify unfavorable election results: J.D. Vance and Elise Stefanik. I mean, It is just extraordinary what he has done, not just to this country, but to this party.
Well, he fired SecDef Esper because Christopher Miller was amenable to invoking the Insurrection Act. And now he's looking for a VP that would be amenable to tossing out people's votes because Pence didn't have the courage, remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if he wins, nobody's going to get to vote again.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll vote ceremoniously, but J.D. Vance will toss him out.
Yeah. Allison tweets, seemed to me President Biden called the House Republicans bluff. They asked for a border bill. They got one. Now they're proving they were never going to pass one because they need a problem to run on, and they were never going to fund Ukraine, which is such a despicable disgrace that, they're just going to hand Ukraine to Putin. That they are such, like, as I was saying, like they listen to Trump and Trump listens to Putin. That sums it all up, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But the only lesson they learned was the lesson of Roe, when they get what they want, it backfires on them spectacularly. So fixing the border is, and that's why, I mean, honestly, let's be real. That's why there's never been comprehensive border reform and immigration reform, is because if they fix the problem, they don't have it to complain about.
Yeah.
They don't have ideas.
I just feel like Republicans have never been this openly just traitorous. They're just say all the quiet power out loud, right? I mean, it's okay. By
How
the
many
way,
times do they have to get clobbered in elections?
Right.
yeah. Allison, you also hang on. I wanted to get you. You also tweeted President Biden says he would veto a bill to fund Israel because it doesn't include aid to Gaza or Ukraine. Fails to fund border security. Fails to support the security of synagogues. I never know. I get happy clappy about stuff, and then I see voters in Michigan saying I'm going to write in free Palestine, even if that helps Trump win. What are your how are you feeling right now? I know we're 9 months out from the actual election, but just all of it. Trump seeing justice before then. What you think's going to happen?
Well, you know how the DOJ is real quiet, and everybody thinks that means they're doing nothing.
Right.
Diplomacy happens behind closed doors with the State Department. But that is long past untenable. Biden has opposed what Bibi Netanyahu is doing in Gaza since day one. He just needs to now be vocal and public about it.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping there's enough time between now and then to prove to the American people who are concerned about arming Israel with offensive weapons instead of just defensive weapons, enough time to prove between now and then that he vehemently opposes what Bibi Netanyahu is doing in Gaza, which we all do. I mean, any normal person would, right?
Yeah.
You can be pro-Israel and anti-Bibi.
Of course. Yeah.
In fact, if you're pro-Israel, you should be anti-Bibi.
Exactly.
Right.
Many people in Israel are pro-Israel and anti-Bibi.
I get the emotion around this, Elsa, I'm sure when you talk about it too, but as I keep saying, no person that is on this show is pro-genocide or does not care about Palestinian lives. This is just a horrible... I mean,
we want a two-state solution. We want both peoples to live in dignity and in their own independent states without Hamas, which is a terrorist organization.
Right.
There should be the Palestinian Authority. Palestine should have its own country. I mean, we all agree to that. Killing civilians is bad, and it should stop.
Yeah.
It needs to stop.
Yeah.
It is.
But I mean, we have to also simultaneously say we care about hostages that are likely being tortured and raped as we speak, still.
100%. And that's why we have the CIA guy over there trying to really bully in their release. But we also have to recognize that President Biden is not the prime minister of Israel.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
He can call for a ceasefire all day. If Bibi doesn't do it, Bibi doesn't do it.
Right.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's in Bibi's interest to drag this out because it's like, oh, well, we can't, replace me now because we're in this thing, well, so he's going to keep this thing going as long as he can.
Well, and Bibi and Putin and Iran would love nothing more than for Trump to be back in office.
Thank you. And that's all kinds of, we're going to have to, we thought 2016 was bad. Oh my God. How bad do you think, Netanyahu and Putin want Trump back in? What we need is Seth, the homo of hope, who obviously buys Allison Gill's hopium on a daily basis.
Yes.
She is his dealer. Hi, Seth.
Hi. Happy Homo Day. Happy Homo Hope Day to everybody.
Thank you.
This is amazing. This is the happiness and the hopiness that I have been calling about since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, I know we've all been pent up, but this justice is coming.
Well, that's
and
because
it's
Allison's been
exploding, and
edging all of us.
I know she has been edging, and I've been feeling it. So I just had to call and say, this is our day, and everybody just feel it to the max and let it carry you on to our next win. Because these wins are just coming and coming and coming.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better than when things are coming over again.
Yes,
I'm
that's
into
right.
multiple.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Seth. All right.
I thought that's where he was going.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
where he's
I
going.
think we just put this call to a happy ending. Let's okay. You retweeted Jack, what's his name, Prosobiec, right-wing whack, who said breaking Trump challenges Biden to immediate general election debate. And you said, question for Biden, how has your economic plan benefited union workers? Question for Trump, which one of these is a giraffe? Okay.
Exactly.
Do you think he's actually going to debate?
I'm waiting for the Saturday Night Live sketch of a debate like
Yeah.
that between Biden and Trump. You remember how I think it was Jimmy Kimmel put Obama and Trump side by side with when we captured and killed bin Laden and
Yes.
died like a dog, a good dog.
Like a dude.
We knocked on the front door, and the contrast there. I think we kind of need that sort of thing again.
But do you think he actually will? I mean, his mental decline is so obvious.
He won't.
I don't think he will.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's yet another, as you say, we've run out of the word unprecedented. It's just like, I don't know, he just makes up all the rules as we go along. Like, nope, no more debates, no primaries, no.
He'll say he will, and then he'll shoot up some COVID the night before, and then they'll call off the debate, and Trump will say that Biden is too afraid to debate him. That's what'll happen.
Yeah.